Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. The bigger picture, only on Money FM 89.3.
Good morning. Welcome to The Bigger Picture. Me, Ryan Huang. And we are looking at the fragile truce between Thailand and Cambodia that continues to hold following 5 days of deadly border clashes. Officials from the Southeast Asian neighbours met in Malaysia earlier this week for the start of border talks. And that's a week after a ceasefire brought an end to an eruption of 5 days of deadly clashes between them. The meeting on Monday comes ahead of a key meeting on Thursday, which will be observed by representatives from China, Malaysia and the United States, aimed at ironing out plans to maintain the current truce and avoid future border confrontations. So what's at stake when it comes to the economy and potential implications for the wider region? Let's check in now with Erica Tay. She is the Director of Macro Research at Maybank. Erica, good morning. How are you doing today?
Morning, Ryan. Happy to be on the show.
Thanks for joining us. So we've got quite a bit to unpack. Let's start with the big picture first. How serious is the current standoff between Thailand and Cambodia, and why should investors be paying attention to it?
So this is the first serious armed confrontation between the two countries as well as within Southeast Asia in many years. So in terms of humanitarian costs, there have already been more than 40 fatalities and over 300,000 people evacuated from both sides of the border. So even though the ceasefire appears to hold, and it's important to monitor the situation because firstly, the border will likely stay closed for the rest of the year. So this will have an impact on the economic prospects for both Cambodia and Thailand.
Yeah, so wide-ranging implications, not just for the social and humanitarian aspects, but also for the economy. So let's talk about what's playing out right now. You call it an uneasy truce. What are chances that this conflict could reignite, or what could be potentially the worst-case scenario that you're looking at right now?
I think to set the background, actually relations have been quite fraught between the two countries. So trade linkages are quite minimal, even though Cambodia and Thailand share a border of more than 800 kilometers. So just to give you an example, in the last decade, Cambodia accounted for just 1.6% of Thailand's total trade. So we think that the impact, if the fighting resumes for the rest of the year, it could hit Thailand's GDP growth in the second half by 0.7 percentage points. So this could bring Thailand's GDP growth for this year below 2%. And then for Cambodia, it can lower GDP growth by about 2 percentage points. But overall, for this year, Cambodia's growth should still come in at about 4% in the worst case.
Yeah, so that's a great overview of the top-level numbers. Walk us through a bit deeper in terms of the sector impact. When we think about Thailand, of course, tourism is a big sector. What's the implications on the front?
We think that the impact on tourism will probably fade off for Thailand if the ceasefire holds, because we assume that, travelers tend to book their holidays 1 to 2 months in advance. So now with the ceasefire announced, they should start to normalize. So we think that for tourism sentiment, it could probably lead to a 5% fall in overall visitor arrivals to Thailand, or a fall of about 1.8 million. So safety concerns have been top of mind for a major market of Thai tourism, and that is the Chinese market. And even before this armed confrontation, Chinese visitors to Thailand have already fallen by about 60% from the peak in 2018, right?
All right. Still on Thailand, let's stay there. And they have a lot of factories making cars, food production as well, construction. They also rely on Cambodian workers. So to what degree is that affected right now?
I think the linkages are quite tight. So officially, there are about 500,000 Cambodian workers in Thailand, but unofficially estimates put it closer to 2 million. So 4 to 5% of Thailand's total workforce, and they are concentrated in a couple of sectors. So a quarter of migrant workers in the construction sector in Thailand are Cambodian, and also 1/5 of those in agriculture and food processing. So we have to bear in mind that about 70% of migrant workers in Thailand are from Myanmar. So it's significant, but not super significant.
Okay, so let's take a look at the other side of the equation. Cambodia, to some degree, also relies on Thailand. Walk us through what are the implications there, and are they, in some sense, more reliant on Thailand?
Yes, so I think the relationship is quite uneven. So Cambodia actually depends on Thailand for 14% of its imports, and it's concentrated in a few key areas. So it relies on Thailand for 1/3 of its petroleum, so that's very important, and also 86% of sugar imports and 3/4 of its motorcycles. So I think in a couple of key areas, it really relies on Thai manufacturing.
Okay, so let's take a step back and look at the potential spillover effects for the rest of the region. What are you expecting in terms of potential knock-on?
So we think that the saving grace for Southeast Asia is that the U.S. tariffs on many ASEAN nations have been announced. So for multinationals that were looking to diversify their investment, their manufacturing bases beyond China, I think this gives them a bit more confidence to roll out their expansion plans. But I think you're right, the confrontation between Thailand and Cambodia reminds investors that the region, unfortunately, has unresolved territorial disputes. And I think this particularly affects a strategy called Thailand Plus One. So for the past decade, MNCs, especially those from Japan, have pursued Thailand Plus One, which is using Thailand as a hub, but also building a network of factories in low-cost Cambodia or Myanmar to make less sophisticated components that feed into the Thai factories. So with the Thai-Cambodia border closed for the foreseeable future, there have been supply chain disruptions, and if the tensions flare up again, this actually puts into question the reliability of cross-border supply chains such as Thailand Plus One.
Okay. To what degree do you think this affects the ASEAN investment story and the investor confidence into this region?
The overwhelming value proposition of ASEAN still holds, which is that it has a bit of everything for all sorts of companies. So if you're looking for good infrastructure, you will head to Singapore, good connectivity. And if you're looking for low-cost labor or land or mid-skilled labor, you have a lot of different choices to go to. So I think the investment proposition for Southeast Asia is still intact.
Okay, so that's a great snapshot of the ongoing truce between Thailand and Cambodia, a fragile one still. That continues to be something that investors are watching very closely, and helping us out to unpack what's going on has been Erica Tay. She is the Director of Macro Research at Maybank. Erica, thank you so much for your time and insights.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, catch up with you again next time. Stay Money FM 89.3.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.